Do we have to clap again? Middle.
We're doing this together. Mutual can.
Teamwork. All right. Now that we've touched clappers, let's move on. There was drink spilled. There was sound off. This is not a good start.
Any bloody thing could happen.
Oh, nice drop. I love it when they do that in a movie. When they like...
tie in the title.
Yeah, any bloody thing could happen. All right, this is Any Bloody Thing, where we talk about any bloody thing.
Braden Croft.
Travis Shuchuk.
And today we are talking about genre sequels.
Genre sequels.
And not just any genre sequel, basically movies that kicked ass the first time.
Yeah.
And then had a sequel down the line, whether it's a second or whatever may have followed, and they were just as good.
Equal or better, yeah.
Equal or better.
Equal or better, because I think that's a fair thing. Because there's so many sequels that are just kind of mid-range meh. Like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And then there's the money grab, obvious, like they didn't really have a great story or reason to do the sequel, but they did it because... Had to cash in while it was hot or whatever.
Yeah.
But these are not those. These are the ones that where you watch them and go, yeah, damn, that was a sequel well worth having.
You're not sure if it's better than the original, but... Yeah. I mean, like, to get a sequel anywhere close to a successful original film, that's hard, man. That's
super
it's probably harder than getting your first hit with the first
Because
film.
to get the first one to hit, you just, there's an immense amount of things you have to still get right to make a hit film of any sort. But now to follow that up where it still feels valid, where you're still expanding upon the story, not just redoing the first one, which many a times that's the case. I can only imagine as a director doing a sequel, which you haven't done yet.
I haven't done one.
But I'm sure, like, entering into sequel territory, regardless if it was your story the first time or, you know, in some ways almost worse. Like, for a guy like James Cameron, let's say with one of our picks on here, which we probably will start with, following up after a great, like, Ridley Scott, which really nailed something amazing.
With Alien.
Yeah. One of the greatest genre crossing horror, sci-fi, suspense, everything that was just, it was a beautiful film. But Aliens comes up, James Cameron just nails it. Yeah, it's a totally different feature. It still kept some of the suspense and horror of the first one, but went really action heavy.
Which has kind of become like a new thing. Like you make the slow burn hit number, like the first film, which was Alien, and then so many films do this, is the next film is the action version of it. Yeah. There's more of the monster.
Yep. Because and I agree with the more of the monster, you've already seen it, right? Yeah. So you don't have to scare them with the appearance of this creature. We already know what we're looking at. So how do you amp it up? Is throw more of them at you. Throw them in different situations.
Okay, so to close up with Alien and Aliens, which one did you prefer?
You know, I've asked myself that my whole life. It's one of those for me.
Go to bed at night thinking of that question every day.
Yeah, it's that meme with like your girlfriend next to you. Oh, I bet you he's thinking of other women, and it's like, which is better, Alien or Aliens? God damn. And it's true. It's one of those for me. Growing up, I said Aliens.
Right.
Because, you know, you're a kid.
More action.
The Marines were super cool. I liked the dropship. I liked the APC, the power loader, all the cool gear. Yeah. And as a guy, like...
You could deck that up in a toy line so easily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm drawn, man.
For me, I think you hit the nail on the head as a kid. You love the action, the heavy stuff. Tons of aliens because you want to see it. You want the eye candy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and making films now, I find, especially like low-budget stuff that I'm in indies... I look at Alien, I'm like, man, that is such a perfect crafted film. And one thing I gotta say for that one that makes me love it the most is I knew going in the chest burst scene.
Sure.
I would love to be in an audience when that
to see that the first time,
the very first time.
Oh my God! So much blood!
I have to give Ridley, and I'll go with the first one. I think I like Alien just a little bit more than Aliens because not only did, like, the script, you're working with a great script, but at the same time, like, I've read it, it's fantastic, but the design isn't there. So James Cameron may have brought a lot of elements that are amazing to the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
But man, like Ridley, him and his team, they came up with the xenomorph design, HR. He came up with all that stuff. That was a great move. So all those things that set that franchise in motion was really there in the first one.
Yeah.
They expanded upon it.
Yeah, they created a lot of lore. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they didn't, like, do you really need to redesign that monster? It's
No.
perfect.
That's beautiful. It's
Perfect.
perfect.
So let's cruise through Terminator. Obviously, a new one's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, James Cameron's involved with it a little bit heavier this time, and the return of Linda Hamilton, which got me excited.
Yeah.
Super cool. I'm a huge fan of hers, and
I'm a sucker for all Terminator shit, man.
Me too.
Even if you know it's going to be a little sour and it won't live up to your
yeah,
expectations.
even the bad ones, I still love. It's
I
just
still watch that
whatever,
shit.
man. It's a Terminator movie. It's cool.
The world, the plot lines, they're just so juicy that you can't not watch it.
Yeah. The first one was a little bit more intense, a little bit more horror. The second one, there was more, actually, very similar to Aliens. There was more bonding. There was more a family unit. There was
wide cast.
And then Eddie Furlong and Arnold's interactions was kind of like Newt and Ripley to a degree.
I know now why you cry. But it's something I can never do.
Which, in my opinion, that's what elevated T2. Not only the special effects were breathtakingly
mind-blowing.
good.
Yeah.
Still, even today.
Oh, it still stand.
And it's not like, hey, we're going to do like, he's going to rip off his hand. It's going to look amazing. It's like, we're going to make a fucking dude turn into metal.
Yeah.
Melt,
when it was
reassemble.
never done either. Like CG was in its infancy. Like they were creating things for that movie to make it happen.
Yeah, that's unreal. But I love that emotional connection that the machine and the kid have. It's
and then Linda watching it too, seeing Sarah Connor kind of like, she despises these machines. She knows they're going to bring about the end of the world. They ruined her life. They killed the man that she ended up falling in love with.
And the model that comes back is it's not just like, oh, hey, it's a Terminator. I hate these things.
It's
like
carbon copy version of the guy that 10 years prior tried to kill her. And Robert Patrick was a great villain too. That's another thing I got to give a shout out to, because he was calm, cool, collected, very mechanical, very maniacal. The dude just pulled off. I love that downward, like he looked down and his eyes up, and he would do that, and it was just deadly. Like
the finger wave?
Yeah, just like little touches, man. Very underrated actor in a lot of aspects. And,
very much.
And in that film, just nailed it. That was beautifully casted. Even extras in that movie were bringing it.
So although I love the first Terminator more than life itself.
Great film.
And I love the soundtrack in it, like especially the tunnel sequence when they're ripping down... I forget the street in LA, but basically that tube.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah, I know. Vividly, yeah.
So, okay, to wrap this one up, because we got a lot to go.
T2.
Oh, I was going to say 3, 2, 1, but we would have both said T2.
T2.
Okay.
But, these are all great films for a reason.
All right, next one up.
Wreck.
Wreck was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wreck was awesome. I saw the first one at the Vancouver International Film Fest, and they cranked that thing, like it was peaking on the sound so hard.
Yeah.
But when those things like that hit the jump scares,
yeah.
You just pooped all over the bed.
When you poop in your dreams, you poop for real.
Like cardiac arrest.
A little intense, and I could definitely see that. I think with the found footage style, this was in the era where that was still, it was newer. It was still not being done to death at that point.
The second wave sort of thing.
The second wave. It was after Blair Witch, but it was still, while it was kind of being a new thing, and
it warranted the format. Because it's been a while since I've seen the second.
Sure.
Was it not the rescue team that goes in?
Yeah. And actually, I think it was the third one where they're in the airport.
You know what? I don't even know if I've seen that one. Was that the one?
There's the one in the airport, and that was pretty cool too, to be honest.
Was that the tongue-in-cheek kind of like, this is more of a comedy take on it?
It wasn't really a comedy from what I remember.
Anyway, great film. Which one do you prefer, the first or the second?
I'll go with first.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was such a shock to see something so well executed in that found footage genre that it permanently scarred my brain. So that one was great.
Well, keep the scars a-coming. The Descent. First part, the first part of that movie, you did not know that you were going to see weird albino cave-dwelling creatures killing the hell out of these splunkers.
Great monster.
Did not know it. Great monsters. Cool
Reinvented
idea.
the ravenous kind. It almost felt like a zombie film in a way. Kind of like a new age like virus thing, but in caves.
I loved it. I loved like how they evolved just due to the being in a lightless environment, and they were vicious, man. Some of those kills, it felt. Not only did you have the claustrophobia of being in a creepy ass deep underground cave with no way out, like if you had to throw someone in that situation, yeah, it's terrible. Like,
correct me if I'm wrong. The second one is Juno.
Yeah.
Who was kind of an antagonist / anti-hero in the first one.
Yeah, kind of, for sure.
She comes back.
Yeah.
To find the original protagonist, who we thought it's a great ending, but it's always those like bittersweet ones where you're just like, she fucking did she live?
It's
or
right.
She dead?
Yeah.
She's stuck in there. But
I love that it was kind of a direct continuation that way too. Like, yeah.
Which is hard. I think that's pretty hard to pull off. To pull exactly where this one ended, this one will start. Mm-hmm. And when they work, it feels like one complete whole.
Well, it's like you're getting a really long movie at that point. You're just continuing the story seamlessly almost. Yeah, I actually, that was one of the biggest surprises to me, how well they pulled that off. Mm-hmm. And I remember after watching it being really just satisfied with, I'm glad they went that route rather than just another group of people going into the same cave or somewhere, whatever, going with a totally different premise. I'm glad they stuck with that story arc and just kept it going.
So what's your preference, the first or the second?
There again, I'll go with the first just because it did something so original. But the second one, I think I almost view them as the same feature. If you really watch them, if you watch them back to back, the second one didn't feel like it didn't belong.
I would agree with that.
It just kind of felt like one flowing story.
I love the long shot, creepy figure. Do you remember the part I'm talking about in the film when she hears something? Turns around and looks down like the cavern cave, and she sees, you can just make it out, and then it punches in a little bit and then scurries off. And it was like hiding in plain sight scare moment where you lean in as a viewer, and I lick my lips at every chance to do that. When I see it in a script, I'm just like, the plain sight horror, no jump scare. It gets you leaning in.
Yeah.
And it just fucking grabs you out of nowhere, man. I love it.
Why have you disturbed our sleep?
Evil Dead. And now this breaks kind of, there's more action in it, but it's essentially...
It's the same film.
It's the same film.
I know there's reasons they had to do it, like legalities and all that, so you could,
I love the idea that it's almost like after making the first film, he's like, yeah, this is going to be like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
What we did in an hour, we're going to do in 8 minutes, and then we're just going to pick up from there.
Yeah. I think that's the only way, like, because he had to remake it in some regards, right? I do like that that's what he did. Yeah. Rather than just remake the whole thing just again and then go on to Army of Darkness, that he got to still expand upon the story, still take it further, but yet he still got all the essential shit you needed to understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
To me, it's simple. I mean, the first one established everything and I respect it, but like the special effects got amped up crazily, the acting's better, everything just kind of got a little better.
It did feel a lot more like Raimi as well.
Yeah.
The first one, groundbreaking.
Yeah, sure.
Admittingly. But the second one did feel like, okay, this is
who he's becoming. This is
a director in a more pure form.
Yeah.
So, that's tough to say, because I do love the first one.
I haven't seen Evil Dead 2 yet. What would you think? I'd think that you're a cinematic idiot, and I'd feel sorry for you.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is only part 1 of our dive into Kickass genre sequels, so stay tuned for next week for part 2. If you're liking what you hear, be sure to give us a like and subscribe at our YouTube channel at Any Bloody Thing.